lovely little humans. I've missed you all dearly, and I hope you guys are really truly thinking about how much our quarantine has really impacted you and how just truly blessed we are to be able to go to school and socialize and see friends and see teachers and see other people and go outside and do all these fun things that we're not able to do right now. We will be able to do those again, but right now we just really need to truly think about how grateful we are that we're healthy and alive and that God has given us this time to just truly reflect. But I would like to come to you today. Last week, I had you guys looking at minerals and all the different properties, streak, luster, just all those characteristics that minerals bring to our table. And today I wanted to further explain to you different characteristics and what all comes along with different minerals and rocks. So if you're ready, here we go. If you want to grab a pencil or a piece of paper and take notes, you can do so during this time. It might help you a little bit with our next project that we're going to be doing. So I'll give you a few seconds. If you want to pause the video right now to go do so, you may. All right, here we go. I'm going to spew at you a lot of information. I just want to let you know that to just take it in, take a deep breath. I know it's a lot. I know it's hard to learn online and we're not in person and you can't tell me, Mrs. Clark, slow down. But here we go. So, mineral characteristics. We have a bunch of different types of minerals. We have minerals that naturally occur, so they are formed by natural processes. We have inorganic minerals, so they're not alive and they don't come from anything living. We have solids or crystal-like structures, which basically these are formed by atoms that are arranged in a geometric pattern. And then we have specific composition, which are minerals that have a unique chemical formula. So they can be an element or a compound. So for example, an element would be hydrogen, which is represented by an H on the periodic table. A compound would be putting two elements together. So we could have H2O, which is two hydrogen atoms and an oxygen. We're getting into 8th grade, but you could always use it. So examples of minerals, and I'm sure you heard some examples in your book. So we have pyrite, halite, galena. These are 3 types of minerals that are common in the world. Excuse me. So how do minerals form? Minerals form during crystallization. So the process is which atoms are arranged into specific repeating structures. So we can't see this repeating structure, but it is how the mineral is formed. So there's 2 ways that minerals can form, and this was talked about in your textbook. It can form by the crystallization of magma, or it can form by the crystallization of minerals dissolved in a solution. So the talking about magma and solutions were found in page 144 and 145 of your book. So what is crystallization of magma? So when magma cools, so if you don't know, magma does usually come from volcanoes, but when the magma cools, it forms a liquid, and this liquid turns into a crystal state form. The size of the crystal will then depend on how fast the magma cools, because it is very hot, the amount of gas in the magma, and also the chemical composition of the magma. So how do crystals form from solutions? When a solution becomes supersaturated, so this is basically when the solution cannot hold anymore. So if it's supersaturated, it can't hold anymore. The minerals will form through precipitation, and we all know what precipitation is because we have learned about it earlier this year. Minerals can also crystallize when the solution evaporates. So as it's evaporating, these crystals are forming, which will then eventually form the mineral or rock. So how do we identify minerals? Your book also talked about how we can identify minerals, and there's all these different unique characteristics that minerals have on how we can identify them. So we can identify them by looking at all these characteristics. So crystal form. Some minerals form distinct crystal shapes. So halite, which is a type of mineral, will always form a cube. So this you can just see. Quartz forms 6-sided crystals with double pointed ends. So I'm going to show you a picture of a quartz. Hold on. So here's a picture of the quartz. So we see the crystallized structure. And then here's where we have our halite. So this will always form cubes. Hopefully that helped you a little bit. Luster. So what is luster? Luster is the way that a mineral will reflect light. So we have a metallic luster, which is shiny faces that will reflect light, and we have a non-metallic luster. So if something is non-metallic luster, it's not going to shine like a metal at all. It's going to be dull. It might be waxy. Moving on. Another characteristic is hardness. So the measure of how easily a mineral can be scratched. That one's a little bit easier. Minerals that can be scratched with a fingernail are usually a 2 or less on the hardness scale. Minerals that cannot be scratched with a finger but can be scratched by glass are usually between a 2.5 and a 5.5 on the number scale. And then we have minerals that can scratch glass. So these minerals are really tough. These are 5.5 on our number scale for hardness. Cleavage and fracture. I know I had a few of you who asked me a question on your lesson review about cleavage and fracture. So cleavage describes the way a mineral breaks along a plane of weakness, where a fracture is when a mineral breaks into pieces with rough or jagged edges. So they have a specific difference. So I'm going to show you really quick some examples of cleavage. So here's a one-directional cleavage. Here we have a two-directional cleavage. So we see those breaks in the mineral. Here we have a three-directional cleavage. Here is a cubage cleavage, and I know these are kind of confusing, especially because we're not in person, but I hope you kind of get the point. Okay. So fractures are when it's more of a piece. So you can't see those jagged edges. So here we have arch-like patterns that are made by a fracture. This one's really hard to see, and I'm sorry, but it's showing no arch-like patterns. I'm sorry, that was difficult to see. I'm doing my best. Next up, we have color. So a big characteristic is color. So most notable characteristics of minerals usually caused by presence of trace elements. So a black rock will usually have a substance called an obsidian that makes it black, while a yellow rock is usually made that way by sulfur. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do with minerals and rocks to also break them into their specific category. So there's a thing called a streak, which is the color that the mineral leaves behind when it's broken up and powdered. So if we were in school right now, we could be looking at specific rocks and the streak color that they leave. However, we are not in school, so we can't do that. I hope we're in school soon so we can do this hopefully, but I don't know. But really quick, I want to explain to you what we are going to be doing this week. So I am going to attach to your email a minerals research project that you are going to begin. It is going to be due on this Friday, March 27th. So you will select one mineral to research in detail using either your textbook or online resources. In the doc I'm sending you, it has 3 websites that I want you to use, so you can always pick a rock or mineral from that site. So you're going to gather information about your minerals and fill in the project sheet that is attached to the document. Once you are done with this, you will then make a Prezi, something on Canva or a Google Slides to show me all the information that you have learned about your mineral. So on the document, it explains all this. It tells you exactly what you need to do. I hope that it makes sense, and I just want to let you know that I'm always here for you. I'm an email away. I'm literally on my phone or have it by me from the moment I wake up till I go to bed, making sure that I answer all your questions. So don't ever feel like you can't do so. I hope you guys stay healthy, and I miss and love you guys so much. Bye.